Question 1. Why was the Habeas Corpus Act of 1679 so important? C. It ensured no person could be held unlawfully. Habeas corpus is Latin for you must present the person in court. The act guaranteed that no one could be held prisoner unlawfully. Question 2. Which 2 points about slavery are correct? A. Quakers set up the first anti-slavery groups. D. William Wilberforce was a leading abolitionist. The first formal anti-slavery groups were set up by the Quakers in the late 1700s, and they petitioned Parliament to ban the practice. William Wilberforce, an evangelical Christian and a member of Parliament, also played an important part in changing the law. Along with other abolitionists, people who supported the abolition of slavery, he succeeded in turning public opinion against the slave trade. Question 3. After the Act of Union, Scotland was no longer an independent country. In what ways was it still separate from the rest of Great Britain? A. All of the above. The Act of Union, known as the Treaty of Union in Scotland, was therefore agreed in 1707, creating the Kingdom of Great Britain. Although Scotland was no longer an independent country, it kept its own legal and education systems and Presbyterian Church. Question 4. After his campaign in Ireland and his defeat of Charles II, Oliver Cromwell was given what title? D. Lord Protector. After his campaign in Ireland and victory over Charles II at Worcester, Cromwell was recognised as the leader of the new republic. He was given the title of Lord Protector and ruled until his death in 1658. When Cromwell died, his son, Richard, became Lord Protector in his place but was not able to control the army or the government. Question 5. Is the statement below true or false? Under the system of feudalism, the kings gave land to lords, and the landowners had to send men to serve in the army in return. True. The Normans used a system of land ownership known as feudalism. The king gave land to his lords in return for help in war. Landowners had to send certain numbers of men to serve in the army. Question 6. Who was Kenneth MacAlpin? D. The Scottish king. In the north, the threat of attack by Vikings had encouraged the people to unite under one king, Kenneth MacAlpin. The term Scotland began to be used to describe that country. Question 7. What happened to Catherine Parr? A. She died. Catherine Parr. Catherine was a widow who married Henry late in his life. She survived him and married again but died soon after. Question 8. During the 19th century, which sector of the Irish economy supported around 2/3 of its people? A. Farming. Conditions in Ireland were not as good as in the rest of the UK. 2/3 of the population still depended on farming to make their living, often on very small plots of land. Question 9. How old was Edward VI when he died? A. 15. Henry VIII was succeeded by his son Edward VI, who was strongly Protestant. During his reign, the Book of Common Prayer was written to be used in the Church of England. A version of this book is still used in some churches today. Edward died at the age of 15 after ruling for just over 6 years, and his half-sister Mary became queen. Question 10. Is the statement below true or false? People are able to buy national lottery tickets in the UK if they are aged 14 or over. False. People under 16 are not allowed to participate in the national lottery. Question 11. Which of these statements is correct? A. Both Jane Austen and Charles Dickens are famous novelists. Jane Austen, 1775 to 1817, was an English novelist. Her books include Pride and Prejudice and Sense and Sensibility. Her novels are concerned with marriage and family relationships. Many have been made into television programs or films. Charles Dickens, 1812 to 70, wrote a number of very famous novels, including Oliver Twist and Great Expectations. You will hear references in everyday talk to some of the characters in his books, such as Scrooge, a mean person, or Mr. Micawber, always hopeful. Question 12. Which of these statements is correct? A. A famous sailing event is held at Cowes on the Isle of Wight. Many sailing events are held throughout the UK, the most famous of which is at Cowes on the Isle of Wight. Question 13. Which of these statements is correct? A. The Mousetrap is a play that has been running in London's West End since 1952. The Mousetrap, a murder mystery play by Dame Agatha Christie, has been running in the West End since 1952 and has had the longest initial run of any show in history. Question 14. Which two are famous horse racing events? A. Royal Ascot, C. The Grand National. Famous horse racing events include Royal Ascot, a 5-day race meeting in Berkshire attended by members of the royal family, the Grand National at Aintree near Liverpool, and the Scottish Grand National at Ayr. Question 15. What is a traditional pub game in the UK? B. Pool. Pool and darts are traditional pub games. Question 16. Which of these books did Graham Greene not write? B. Moby Dick. Graham Greene, 1904–91, wrote novels often influenced by his religious beliefs, including The Heart of the Matter, The Honorary Consul, Brighton Rock, and Our Man in Havana. Question 17. Which of these films was directed by David Lean? A. Brief Encounter. Brief Encounter, 1945, directed by David Lean. Question 18. What is the common name for yeoman warders at the Tower of London? A. Beefeaters. Tours are given by the yeoman warders, also known as beefeaters, who tell visitors about the building's history. People can also see the crown jewels there. Question 19. Which two people are famous UK sports stars? A. Dame Kelly Holmes, D. Sir Chris Hoy. Sir Chris Hoy, 1976, is a Scottish cyclist who has won 6 gold and 1 silver Olympic medals. He has also won 11 World Championship titles. Dame Kelly Holmes, 1970, won 2 gold medals for running in the 2004 Olympic Games. She has held a number of British and European records. Question 20. Is the statement below true or false? In 1830s and 1840s, a group called the Chartists campaigned for reform to the voting system. True. In the 1830s and 1840s, a group called the Chartists campaigned for reform. Question 21. How are local councils funded? A. From central government and local taxes. They are funded by money from central government and by local taxes. Question 22. Why is 1918 an important date in the history of women's rights? C. Women were given the right to vote. However, by 1918 most of these reforms had been adopted. The voting franchise was also extended to women over 30, and then in 1928 to men and women over 21. In 1969, the voting age was reduced to 18 for men and women. Question 23. Who elects police and crime commissioners, PCCs? D. The public. In November 2012, the public elected police and crime commissioners, PCCs, in England and Wales. Question 24. Which two courts deals with minor criminal cases in the UK? C. Justice of the Peace Court. D. Magistrates Court. In England, Wales, and Northern Ireland, most minor criminal cases are dealt with in a magistrates' court. In Scotland, minor criminal offences go to a Justice of the Peace Court.